Minwei Chi Nan. Chapter 213. Gratitude. It was now July. To be exact, it was the time for students to have their summer vacation. Mian didn't arrange for Ruki and Lei Rulan to attend school. For the time being, the boys had a private tutor to teach them 5th grade curriculum. Their classes were held from 8 to 11 in the morning every day. Ruki and Lei Rulan were only 8 years old. Normally, they should be in 3rd grade, but both of them were very smart. Their knowledge was almost equal to that of the 5th grade students. Mian didn't deliberately increase their learning intensity nor suppress their progress rate. The tutor would teach as much as they could learn. In short, he let nature take its course. Ruki and Lei Rulan had a good relationship, so Mian put them in the same bedroom with 2 sets of beds, writing desks, and wardrobes. The other 2 bedrooms were made into a guest room and a study. There were a writing board and 2 sets of desks in the study, which made up a classroom. When Ruki and Lei Rulan were in class, Mian held a business card in his hand and made a phone call on the balcony. Lei Tie was not at home. He had been learning to drive in the driving school these days. After the call got through, a polite voice came from the other end. "Hello, who is this? Are you Lin Feng?" Mian said, "I'm Lei Rulan's father." The harsh sounds of the chair legs rubbing against the floor and the chair falling to the ground were heard in the phone call, followed by an excited voice, "I'm Lin Feng." "Hello, Mr. Lei. My surname is Qin." Mian said, "Mr. Lin, thank you for treating my son to a meal. I've heard my son talk about you and have a general understanding of your illness, but I can't make a conclusion until I check your pulse personally. I wonder if Mr. Lin is free these days." Yes. Lin Feng said, "Mr. Qin, I'm free anytime." Mian could understand the other person's feelings, so, how about we meet at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon at the entrance of the KFC restaurant on Fuyuan Road, S City? No problem. Lei Tie learned to drive very quickly and didn't go to the driving school the next day. After Ruki and Lei Rulan's class, the family of 4 drove to the restaurant. Their car was a black SUV which gave people a rough, stylish, and heroic feeling. Mian and Lei Tie liked it very much. Ruki and Lei Rulan sat in the back seat. Lei Rulan described the spicy chicken wings he ate that day to his gurgler. Rulan didn't say a word, but his gentle eyes showed that he was listening to his Didi's words. After parking the car in the parking lot, the family of 4 walked diagonally to the restaurant across the way. Passers-by had all eyes on them, full of appreciation. The group of 4 was excellent both in appearance and attire. Mian had sunglasses on his head, dressed in a black short-sleeve t-shirt and a white capri pants, looking handsome and easygoing. Lei Tie was dressed in a white v-neck long sleeves with sunglasses hung at the collar and matched with a black slim-fit suit and jeans of the same color with a red and black plaid belt, looking cold but charming, just like a celebrity. Rulan and Lei Rulan wore identical baseball caps and identical light blue and silver sports outfits with waist bags with cartoon design hung on their waist. They also got a 100% rate of turning heads. Entering the restaurant, Lei Rulan, just like he had been here before, took Ruki to the ordering counter. "Gurgr, this way." Mian and Lei Tie followed, unhurriedly. The people in the restaurant couldn't help staring at them. Especially the young girls, their admiring eyes toured on the 2 men as they exchanged confidential whispers with their friends. "Ruki and Rulan, what do you want to eat?" Mian put his arm around his eldest son's shoulder and asked. Ruki said, "Daddy, Lao Daddy, I want a family bucket, a pair of spicy chicken wings and a Coke." These 2 forms of address made people around a little surprised. It turns out that these 2 are. No matter where they were, Mian would not deny his relationship with Lei Tie and his 2 sons. With a smile on the corner of his lips and an indifferent face, he turned a blind eye to other people's complex expression. Lei Tie's face was expressionless, there was no one except Mian, Ruki, and Lei Rulan in his eyes. Qin Mian looked at Lei Tie with a happy smile. Lei Tie understood and took out his wallet to pay. Some girls looked back with disappointment, while others were excited. They peeked at Qin Mian and Lei Tie. Their eyes were more intense as they swept around the family of four. Rulin boy. After Lin Feng was sure that he didn't recognize the wrong person, he quickly walked over. The man who had been sitting with him also kept up. Lei Rulin saw Lin Feng and nodded politely. Daddy, Lao Daddy, this is the mister who treated me to KFC. Qin Mian politely shook hands with Lin Feng. Mr. Lin, thank you for helping my son. You're welcome, Mr. Qin. It's just a little help. Lin Feng eagerly said, Mr. Qin, I heard Rulin say. Lei Tie gave him a cold glance and frowned. The man beside Lin Feng noticed it. He pulled Lin Feng's arm and said, Ah Feng, why are you so anxious? Mr. Qin's family hasn't had lunch yet. Only then did Lin Feng notice Lei Tie's displeasure. It was obvious that Qin Mian specially brought his family to KFC restaurant for lunch, so that was why the appointment was set at 2 o'clock. It was he who came early. He said apologetically, Sorry, I was feeling desperate for a moment. Mr. Qin, I won't delay you. We'll talk later. Qin Mian said with a smile, Do as you wish. Lin Feng and his friend went back to their original seats and ordered 2 sets of meals. It was just that, they didn't have appetite. Smelling the smell of coke, Lei Tie looked away uninterested. Qin Ruki didn't notice it. There were 4 coke, 1 for each of them. Qin Mian put his hand on Lei Tie's thigh and winked at him while gloating. Lei Tie gave him a doting look. He still took a sip and frowned, feeling unaccustomed to it. He watched his 2 sons drink it with relish and could not understand their taste at all. He pushed the coke to his wife and said, Wife, help me drink it. Qin Mian put his cup into Lei Tie's hand and said straightforwardly, I don't like it either. Lei Tie had no choice but to drink up the 2 cups. His brows were creasing all the time, as if he was drinking bitter herbs. Qin Mian simmered in laughter and put a spicy chicken wing into Lei Tie's mouth. Qin Ruki and Lei Rulin couldn't stop laughing. Lin Feng and his friend were absent-minded. They watched the family over there finished their meals before they went over. Let's talk about it somewhere else. Qin Mian asked. The restaurant was not really a place to talk about things. Lin Feng said, Okay. There's a coffee shop not far away. They sat down in the coffee shop and introduced themselves. Together with Lin Feng was his good friend, Lu Yingchu. Qin Mian looked so young that Lu Yingchu didn't hold much hope for his medical skills, so he only looked at him lightly. Qin Mian said directly, I'll check your pulse first. Lin Feng put his hand on the table without hesitation. After checking the pulse, Qin Mian nodded, Can cure. Lu Yingchu straightened up and stared at him. Lin Feng grasped the edge of the table in both hands, surprised and pleased, Really? Qin Mian didn't mind him bearing suspicions. He reached out to Qin Ruki, Son, pen, and paper. Qin Ruki took out a ballpoint pen and a notepad and handed them to him. Qin Mian wrote a prescription, tore it off, and handed it to Lin Feng, Here is the prescription. Also, there is a supplementary medicine that I made myself but didn't bring with me. You decide for yourself whether you want it or not. The implication was that this prescription was free of charge, but there was a charge for the supplementary medicine. Lin Feng read the prescription and Lu Yingchu took it. Lu Yingchu looked at Qin Mian in surprise. There was a so-called prolonged illness makes a doctor of a patient. He and Lin Feng were childhood friends. He also knew some medical knowledge by the influence of what he saw and heard. This prescription basically had no problem and very likely to be an ancient prescription. He nodded slightly to Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, Thank you, Mr. Qin. However, I have to discuss this with my family. I'll contact you later. In fact, he needed to ask the experts to take a look at this prescription. Qin Mian knew better, Sure, you know my phone number. Lin Feng couldn't wait to find out if the prescription could be used. After a few polite exchanges, he and Lu Yingchul left in a hurry. 2 days later, Lin Feng called and offered to spend 1 million yuan on the supplementary medicine. Qin Mian gave him a jar of spiritual spring water and dyed it brown with mild herbal juice. On the ground that Lin Feng had helped his son, he gave him a 20% discount and only accepted 800,000 yuan. Qin Mian and his family went out to have a sumptuous meal. Chinese cuisine, Italian cuisine, and French cuisine came in turns in the morning, afternoon, and evening. At dinner, LIAN's mood was quite subtle. "Ah Tie, what are you thinking about?" Qin Mian ate a delicious fried foie gras and squinted. LIAN's answer was concise: how to make money to support the family. Qin Ruki and Lei Rulan completely understood their old daddy's uncomfortable mood. They smiled and looked at each other. They did not participate in the dialogue between the two fathers and enjoyed the delicious food wholeheartedly. Qin Mian supported his chin with one hand as his brain spurned. Every man wanted to have a career, but he couldn't figure out what his family's poker face was suitable for. When Lei Tie saw Qin Mian looking like that, he calmed down. "Not urgent, eat first." End chapter. Minwei Qinan. Chapter 214. Audition. In the afternoon, the Qin Mian family did not go out. Qin Ruki and Lei Rulan were watching TV in the living room. Lei Tie was sitting on the sofa with his legs folded and a notebook computer on his legs. He skillfully slid his right hand on the touch screen. He didn't look like a person who had just learned how to use a notebook computer for 3 days. The look in his eyes staring intently at the screen was full of fascination. Qin Mian came out of the kitchen with a plate of cut fruits, feeling inexplicably jealous of the notebook on the man's knees. He walked over and sat on the armrest of the sofa, staring at his man without saying a word. Lei Tie raised his head with a little smile in his eyes. He put the notebook on the coffee table, hugged his wife's waist, gently gathered the person into his arms and sealed his lips. Qin Mian's eyes widened. He squinted at his two sons, making sure that their attention was still on the TV program before he relaxed, put his arms around the man's shoulder, and responded attentively. "Go to the bedroom." Lei Tie's hoarse voice gently blew into Qin Mian's ears. Qin Mian shuddered, gasped, and shook his head. "It's still daytime," that was what he said, yet lingered on the man's lips, sucking it hard before he sat down beside the man, acting as if nothing had happened. Their hot hands were still tightly clasped to relieve the impulse in their bodies. "Daddy!" Lei Rulan pulled Qin Ruki's hand and went to Qin Mian. "What's the matter?" Qin Mian pulled out his hand, held out the fruit plate and signaled for his two sons to eat some fruits. "Daddy, I want to act in a film." "Gerger also wants to." Lei Rulan pointed to the TV where a little boy was crying with grievance in the corner. He was very excited. Qin Mian thought of the man who claimed to be a film director he met last time. "Why did you suddenly think of this?" Lei Rulan said, "It looks very fun to act in a film." Qin Mian asked his eldest son, "Ruki, are you also interested?" Qin Ruki nodded, "If there's an opportunity, I want to try it." Lei Tie searched for Chen Yu on the internet. There were photos of the person he did meet in the park. He was indeed a well-known film director in China. He had directed many popular films, among which was Borrowed Heart, released in 2011, was number 1 in the mainland box office's chart, and was still at the top of the list. Both Qin Mian and Lei Tie had the ability to protect their two children. Since the boys were interested in acting, there was no reason not to let them experience it. "You can, but once you participate in a series of film shooting, your study time will lessen. Your old daddy and I won't ask you to be first and second in the exam, but we don't want you to be the bottom of the class afterward." Qin Mian's words were mild but strict. Qin Ruki and Lei Rulan looked at each other with confidence. Qin Ruki took the lead in saying, "Daddy can be at ease. Gerger and I will supervise each other." Lei Rulan said immediately. Qin Mian found Chen Yu's business card and dialed it according to the phone number. Who is it? The voice on the other side was a little agitated. Qin Mian said, Hello, Director Chen. We met in the park last time. You are the little friend Lei Rulan's father. Chen Yu asked in surprise, Did you agree with my offer last time? Qin Mian did not deny that. My son is interested to be in a film but he has no experience in acting. It doesn't matter. He can learn. Chen Yu decisively said, I'm in S City now. There's an audition session here. You should come over now. The address is? Okay, goodbye. The family sorted things out and drove to the address given by Chen Yu. Lei Tie had gotten his driver's license. Since he got the license, he was basically the chauffeur of the family when they went out. Chen Yu was famous for his superb insight in the showbiz milieu. The candidates he settled on after the audition were hardly unfit. After seeing Lei Rulan last time, the Tuan Tuan in Chen Yu's mind was exactly Lei Rulan. Anyone else who came to act as Tuan Tuan made him feel stress, not because their appearance was unfit but their temperament was. After leaving his business card to Lei Rulan's father that day, he didn't receive the other party's phone call. Under exasperation, he had to hold an audition again. Time was money, the investor wouldn't wait for him indefinitely. Fortunately, at the critical moment, he got to hear the good news nevertheless. Zhang Qiang, the assistant director and Sun Jiangwen, the representative sent by the investor, noticed that Chen Yu was obviously excited after he received the phone call. Zhang Qiang said, Director Chen, what happy event did you chance upon? All the wrinkles come out to join in the fun. You'll see in a moment. Chen Yu didn't tell the truth. Lei Rulan's external image and personality were very suitable, but whether he had talent in acting or not, one could tell after his audition. He took out his mobile phone and sent a text message to assistant Xiao Zhou, asking him to insert Lei Rulan's name into the audition list. Qin Mian, Lei Tie, Qin Ruki, and Lei Rulan came to Huiyang building and went to the 18th floor. There were more than 30 young boys accompanied by adults in the large conference hall, all were 7 to 9 years old and excellent looking. They were either standing or sitting, no one spoke. The atmosphere was quite tense. When the adults saw Qin Ruki and Lei Rulan, they all felt a little bit of impending crisis. The temperament and appearance of the two children were excellent. Lei Rulan was a little excited but kept his equanimity and calmly sat in the chair. Qin Ruki was clear that the director took a liking to his ditty. This time, he mainly followed to get experience. A little boy in the company of his parents entered a room and then came out looking a little depressed. A bespectacled middle-aged man pushed his glasses up on his nose bridge as he looked around the crowd. Is Lei Rulan here? Here. Lei Rulan stood up and gave him a smile. It's your turn. Thank you. Lei Rulan thanked him politely. When the middle-aged man saw that he and another boy were twins, his eyes stayed for a few more seconds. Qin Mian stepped forward. Hello, we're his family. Can we go in together? Of course. The middle-aged man nodded. As soon as Qin Mian's family of 4 went in, Chen Yu, Zhang Qiang and Sun Jiangwen were all spontaneously impressed. The appearance and temperament of this family were so outstanding that any one of them could become popular in the entertainment industry. Simply put, they wouldn't give other celebrities away to survive. Chen Yu stared at Qin Ruki and Lei Rulan for a while before he could tell which one was Lei Rulan. Although the two brothers looked identical, their temperament was obviously different. Qin Ruki was cold, while Lei Rulan was warm. Qin Mian nodded to Chen Yu and stood aside with Lei Tie and Qin Rulan. Lei Rulan boldly went to the middle, facing Chen Yu and the other 2 people. 3 uncles, my name is Lei Rulan, 8 years old. I came here to audition. Zhang Qiang nodded to himself, seeing that the boy with a calm bearing and quick-witted eyes had the feeling of Tuan Tuan up to 70%. Chen Yu first told Lei Rulan, little friend, you act a scene for us first. The role you're playing is called Tuan Tuan. There's a scene in the script where a villain comes to the door and tries to take a very important chip from your gurgler, but your gurgler has a gunshot wound. You need to draw the opponent's attention to yourself. He asked assistant Xiao Zhou and another staff member Xiao Lu to cooperate with Lei Rulan and asked Lei Rulan gently, "Can you start?" After Lei Rulan politely invited Xiao Zhou, who acted as his gurgler, to stand in front of Chen Yu's group of 3, he nodded to Chen Yu, "Ready." Such a young child surprisingly had such a strong sense of camera shot. Chen Yu and Zhang Yuan looked at each other in pleasant surprise and signaled Xiao Lu. Xiao Lu made a movement of kicking the door open with one foot and said to Xiao Zhou arrogantly, "Chen Kai, be sensible and hand in the microchip, otherwise, I'll humiliate you." Lei Rulan's expression abruptly changed and he promptly hid behind Xiao Zhou. Immediately after, he seemed to realize that this reaction made him appear as if he was guilty of something. He leaned out half of his head from the back of Xiao Zhou's body, held his hands under his belly and clamped his legs, making a posture of urgent need to pee. He said to Xiao Zhou in a low voice, "Gurgler, I need to pee." Xiao Zhou was stunned. Lei Rulan, however, did not wait for his reaction. He glanced at Xiao Lu guardedly and quickly forced his way out. Xiao Lu subconsciously chased after him in a few steps before he returned to his senses and stopped. Zhang Yuan couldn't hold back from clapping his hands. "Good. He's the one. You don't have a problem, do you?" Chen Yu smiled and looked back and forth at Zhang Qiang and Sun Jiangwen with eyes that allowed no question. Zhang Qiang and Sun Jiangwen both shook their heads. They were very satisfied with Lei Rulan's performance and believed in Chen Yu's insight. Lei Rulan's role as Tuan Tuan had thus been decided. Xiao Zhou came to Qin Mian with a folder. "Hello. Because Lei Rulan is a minor, his guardian needs to sign the contract. Which of you is Lei Rulan's guardian?" Qin Mian took out his and Lei Tie's credentials and handed them to him. "We both are." Xiao Zhou looked at the credentials and nodded. "Take a look at the contract and sign on the last page if there are no problems." Qin Mian carefully read all the clauses and readily signed on the 3 contracts. Xiao Zhou gave him the script. "This is the script. Let the child get familiar with it. We'll contact you when we start shooting." Only until they got inside the car did Lei Rulan cheer happily. "I can be in a film." Qin Mian handed the contract to him with a smile. "See if you can understand it. Rookie, you can also have a look. If you have a chance to act in a film or TV drama in the future, it can be used as a reference." The 2 brothers looked at the contents of the contract head to head. Qin Mian and Lei Tie had a discussion. "Our son's performance is good today. Why don't we eat out in the evening?" Lei Tie said, "Not as good as your cooking." Qin Mian felt proud of himself. "Really?" Lei Tie nodded. Qin Mian was invigorated in both body and mind. "Okay, go home, I'll cook." End chapter. Minwei Qi Nan. Chapter 215. Settling the previous accounts. The next day, Qin Mian received a call from the crew asking him to take Lei Rulan to the ceremony to begin the shooting of the film. This was Lei Rulan's big day. Qin Mian's family of 4 appeared together in new clothes. Chen Yu's begin shooting ceremony was simple and solemn. He and the assistant director spoke a few sentences respectively. After offering a stick of incense, everyone prayed for luck and the begin shooting ceremony was considered over. Heart Caution was a commercial film. The so-called commercial film was precisely a film for the highest purpose of earning a box office's revenue that catered to the masses' preferences and appreciation standard. The male lead, Chen Hailong, which was the role of Tuan Tuan's elder brother, was currently the popular celebrity, Lin Xiang. He was not only handsome in appearance but was also first class in acting ability. Because of Lin Xiang's tight schedule, the first day of shooting was mainly for his part. It was not time for Tuan Tuan to appear yet, but Xiao Zhou suggested that Lei Rulan stay on the set. While he could grasp the feeling of acting, he could also learn from his seniors' experiences in filming. Lei Rulan accepted his suggestion very willingly. His forthright attitude attracted many adults to be very fond of him. Qin Mian, LIAN, and Qin Ruki still stayed to accompany him. Heart Caution was a science fiction film. The story took place in the futuristic world. It was about a scientist who, after years of crazy research, had discovered a formula that could enhance a human's intelligence and physical strength by tampering with genes. He stored the formula in a special microchip. The microchip fell into the hands of acrobat Chen Hailong by accident, which led to a battle between Chen Hailong and a dark organization who wanted to seize the microchip. The film would combine a variety of commercial factors, such as popular movie stars, well-known directors, complex special effects, large investment, large-scale publicity, and so on. It could be predicted that it would once again set a high box office earnings. Tuan Tuan appeared many times. According to the number of scenes, he was the third male lead in the film. The first scene was relatively simple. It was the scene of Chen Hailong and the senior fellow apprentice of the acrobatic troupe making all manner of quips and jokes while comparing notes on their skill. With the guidance of a martial arts director, Lin Xiang passed this scene on first take. It could be considered as a warm-up. Since Lei Rulin was a child and a newcomer, it would not be good to get close to the director to watch the shooting effect on the screen. Qin Mian enlarged the screen with spiritual conjuration, making it like a projection in the air. Only he, Lei Tie, Qin Ruki and Lei Rulin could see it clearly. With his superb acting skills, Lin Xiang has transformed from a big star with elegant temperament into Chen Hailong. In Lei Rulin's eyes, he was very novel and admirable. The second scene was the acrobatic performance of the acrobatic troupe. Because Lin Xiang often received scripts from different roles, he knew some martial arts skills but he was not competent for acrobatic performance. Therefore, the actor was replaced by a stuntman on the stage. Lin Xiang sat on the side to rest. His agent and assistant were around to take care of him. The agent took out a mobile phone and passed it to him, while the assistant handed him a towel and water. Lei Rulin and his Gurgur were whispering to each other. Lei Rulin did not have work on the first 2 days. Lei Tie put aside the matter of starting a career for the time being. Starting from the next day, he would take Qin Ruki and Lei Rulin to the set. Qin Mian wanted to investigate what happened here after he transmigrated to Great Xia from the modern era. When he returned to the modern era, he pretended to be Qin Mian's good friend and called the Qin family. It was confirmed that the original him was unaccounted for in the modern era. Qin Yongcheng suspected that he had an accident outside and called the police, but the police investigation had not made any progress so far. Qin Mian couldn't help but wonder if Qin Lian burnt his body to destroy the evidence after killing him. Qin Mian already didn't care about the people and affairs of the Qin family. But since heaven let him return to the modern era, maybe there was an ordinance in the dark. When he thought that Qin Lian was still living comfortably off after trying to murder him, he felt ill at ease. Qin Lian committed a criminal act, so he should bear the consequences. In fact, the story of Qin Mian's mother and father was a very common case. Qin Mian's mother went to work in a big city when she was young. The 17-year-old girl was young and naive. She was seduced by Qin Mian's father Qin Yongchen's sweet words and easily handed over her heart to him. The Qin family was a family with many businesses. Qin Yongchen's father, Qin Aguo, had a low sperm survival rate. Thus, he only bore an only son, Qin Yongcheng. The Qin family appeared to be weak in the business upsurge. Qin Yongchen's father naturally wanted to have his son marry with another business family. Qin Mian's mother was pretty and pure. Qin Yongcheng did like her a little and had thought of marrying her. However, he liked the Qin family's industry more. Knowing that his marriage partner was the eldest daughter of the Mo family, he agreed to the marriage without much hesitation. When Qin Mian's mother heard the news, she finally saw Qin Yongchen's for what he truly was. She didn't dare to tell him about her pregnancy and left secretly. But in the end, Qin Yongcheng had hurt her heart and thereby hurt her health. Not long after Qin Mian was born, she died. Qin Mian grew up with his maternal grandparents. When he was 15 years old, his grandparents' health had worsened. They were worried about him and took the initiative to contact Qin Yongcheng. After Qin Yongcheng confirmed that Qin Mian was his son, he took him back to the Qin family. Not long after Qin Yongcheng married the Mo family's eldest daughter Mo Feifei, she gave birth to a son, and that was Qin Lian. Qin Lian was only 1 year younger than Qin Mian. Because Mo Feifei pampered Qin Lian's temperament was not very good. Qin Mian was brought up by his grandparents and was the son of Qin Yongcheng's first love. After Qin Mian joined the Qin family, Qin Yongcheng was quite good to Qin Mian. But no one thought that as Qin Mian and Qin Lian grew up, Qin Lian became more and more jealous of Qin Mian and became wary of him, fearing that Qin Yongcheng would hand over the Qin family's industry to Qin Mian. Ultimately, he still extended his crime and pushed Qin Mian down the stairs. Judging from his meager strength, it was obviously not unintentional. Qin Mian pulled his thoughts away from remembering the past and drove to the original scene of the accident, the villa that Qin Yongcheng gave him. From afar, he saw someone watering the flowers on the second floor of the villa. The villa had most probably been sold to others. He drove away and came to the Howen Group building, the Qin family's company. He wanted to take a chance to see if he could see Qin Lian and gross him out at least. There was no story without coincidences. After waiting for about 3 to 4 minutes, 2 people came out of the automatic rotating door on the first floor of the building. The person on the left was dressed in Western suits and leather shoes, looked pretentious with his head high and chest out, and had a contented look. That was Qin Lian. Walking next to him was an elegant-looking young woman with pear flower perm long hair, dressed in a desert-colored bodycon dress and stiletto heels which made the woman appear taller. From their occasional bumping shoulders, one could see that there was definitely an affair between them. Qin Mian smiled meaningfully. He looked at his face in the mirror, which was almost the same as the original one. He opened the door and got out of the car. He put his hands in his pockets as he walked toward Qin Lian. Qin Lian was talking and laughing with his secretary, Zhang Xiaomi, when his eyes caught a glimpse of a man coming straight to his side. He cursed the man under his breath for not having eyes to look at where he was going. He frowned and looked up. When he saw the man's face, he was shocked. He froze in place, feeling anxious and doubtful. Qin Mian. Qin Mian was still unsure if he was supposedly just missing rather than dead, so he didn't respond. He just stopped, looked at Qin Lian with a shadow of a smile and pointedly glanced at Zhang Xiaomi with a profound attitude. Qin Lian calmly sent Zhang Xiaomi away and looked at Qin Mian coldly. Didn't you run away from home? What are you doing back here? You must be so surprised that I'm back. Seeing that his expression did not look like he was lying, Qin Mian patted him on the shoulder with a smile. Since you dared to push me down the stairs, you should have thought that one day I would come back for revenge. Qin Lian paled. He looked around warily and said in a low voice, "What are you talking about? That's you who wasn't careful and rolled down the stairs." At that time, he did plan to get rid of Qin Mian. But he must plan it thoroughly first by taking himself out of the picture and then do it, rather than doing it rashly. So, at that time when he pushed Qin Mian down the stairs, he was so shocked. Upon seeing the blood flowing steadily on Qin Mian's forehead, he was spooked out of his mind and his first reaction was to run away. When he came to his senses, it was already the next morning. In the evening, he made up his mind to see if Qin Mian was dead or not. When he entered the villa, Qin Mian had disappeared. Even the pool of blood on the ground disappeared, leaving no trace. Up to now, Qin Lian was still a little flustered. Qin Mian didn't know exactly what happened afterwards, but with a knowing expression, he said, "That's how you comfort yourself in the past 2 years, so you wouldn't have nightmares, right? Don't talk nonsense." Qin Lian couldn't see through his smile. He felt guilty, but he had to be guarded against Qin Yongcheng's sudden appearance. Even if he tried to restrain it, his irritability still leaked on his face. "Let me tell you, Daddy has decided to leave the Qin family to me. Whatever your plans are, it's only your wishful thinking. Where have your mind gone to? Qin Mian replied ambiguously. Give me both yours and his phone numbers. Qin Lian was very clear that if Qin Mian wanted to contact Qin Yongcheng, he could not stop it at all. He could only tell the phone numbers to him. What do you want to do? What? No confidence in yourself. Qin Mian was amused. The mobile phone in his pocket rang, and the caller ID showed poker face. He put on a warm smile on his lips. "Ah-tie. Me? Outside, running into an old friend and chatting a bit. How did Rulan do? Okay. I'll go back now." After the end of the call, he waved to Qin Lian smartly. "I've something to do, I'm leaving first. We'll have a meal some other day." Qin Lian's face was as heavy as water. He watched coldly as Qin Mian's SUV went farther and farther after he got in the car. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Ding ding dong. The mobile phone rang. As soon as Qin Lian glanced at it, he quickly put a decent smile on his cold face. "Young Master Yu, why are you calling me today? What's your plan for young Master Liu's birthday next month?" Yu Xiongkui's voice sounded utterly carefree. Qin Lian gave a wry smile as his eyes showed a trace of contempt, but his tone was still very gentle. "Young Master Liu is not an easy master to serve. I don't have any idea about it yet. Let's meet and talk about it." "Okay, at the old place." Qin Lian quickly got in the car, slammed the door and sped out, leaving only a cloud of exhaust smoke behind. End chapter. Minwei Qinan. Chapter 216. A day in the production crew. As a member of the crew, the production would provide Lei Rulan a box meal. However, Lei Tie and Qin Ruki were not members of the crew, so the crew naturally did not cover their meal. Lei Tie had just called to ask Qin Mian to deliver food. Qin Mian went home and was busy cooking. With many people in the drama crew eating together, making very fine food would easily attract people's eyes. Hence, Qin Mian just made several home dishes which included red-cooked fish, home-cooked shredded meat, and stir-fried bok choy. He also cooked a pot of strongly flavored bone soup and put it in a large thermos. After thinking about it, he picked some oranges from the space and squeezed a barrel of orange juice. At the filming site, Qin Mian sent a text message to Lei Tie. Not a while later, Lei Tie came out. When the staff saw a provisional pass hanging around Lei Tie's neck, they just let him take Qin Mian in. Qin Mian saw the camera facing Lei Rulan and Lin Xiang, and knew that they were still shooting. He was curious about his son's performance and walked over quickly. Because he had read the script, he knew the content of this scene. The quirky Tuan Tuan found something wrong with his Gurgr in recent days, as he was always absent-minded when doing things. He secretly followed Chen Hai along with funny ideas. Unexpectedly, he discovered that Chen Hailong had a big secret hidden. Tuan Tuan offered to help his Gurgr, but was rejected by Chen Hailong. The naughty Tuan Tuan proposed for them brothers to compete with each other. If he won, Chen Hailong had to promise to take him along. Heart Caution, Scene 1, Act 23. Action. Gur, take me with you. My Kung Fu is so good, I can help you. Lei Rulan was wearing a blue cartoon t-shirt and a pair of black knee-length shorts with a reversed peaked cap on head, appearing a bit naughty. The hands behind his back and tilted head skillfully showed his cockiness and cunningness, remarkably alike the quirky Tuan Tuan. Even if his height was only to Lin Xiang's waist, standing in front of Lin Xiang, he was not oppressed by Lin Xiang's aura at all. Chen Yu sat in front of the monitor screen and frequently nodded. Not only he, but Lin Xiang was also surprised. He looked at the child in front of him with new eyes. Stop horsing around. Chen Hailong patted Tuan Tuan's head neither lightly nor hard. His playing down tone showed that he didn't take his younger brother's words seriously and was just humoring because he was afraid of being found out with the microchip in his hand. The expression in his eyes was grave. Grr. Because of Gurgr's distrust, Tuan Tuan was somewhat frustrated, but he still tried to persuade, Grr, let me go with you. I'm just a kid. No matter what happens, no one else will suspect me. Chen Haolong admitted that what he said was reasonable and glanced at him. Still, he didn't want to involve his younger brother in danger. The expression in his eyes was still firm and remained unmoved. Tuan Tuan had no choice but to say, come on, let's have a fight. If I win, you take me with you. If I lose, I'll give up. He put his hands on his little hips, poked his right foot on the ground bit by bit, pouted his mouth and aimed a pair of glistening eyes at him. Chen Haolong was teased by his mischief and simply agreed. His tone was very perfunctory as he just wanted to send away his younger brother quickly. Fine, fine. I'll play with you. Cut. Chen Yu said with satisfaction, very good. The next scene is a fight between the two of you. The stuntman will do it. Lei Rulin immediately raised his hand, Director, I can do it myself. Everyone looked at him in surprise. The main reason was that no one thought that Chen Yu could dig out a little master just by casually digging in the street. Chen Yu was very surprised, personally. Lei Rulin nodded cleverly, I've learned martial arts for more than 5 years. A lot of people involuntarily laughed, taking it as though the little one was not sensible and joking around. He was no more than 8 years old. If he had learned for 5 years, didn't he begin to learn when he was over 2 years old? How was that possible? Zhang Qiang frowned, a little unhappy. It was not that he didn't like Lei Rulin. These days, Lei Rulin's twin brother, Qin Ruqi, was here. He noticed that Qin Ruqi was also interested in filming, so he thought that Lei Rulin did such as brushing his sense of existence in front of Chen Yu was suspicious. Perhaps, his purpose was to attract Chen Yu's attention to Qin Ruqi. In fact, he actually thought too much. People in the entertainment industry had seen people of various shapes and colors so much that they couldn't help thinking of others in the direction of scheming. He simply forgot that Lei Rulin was just a child. How could the child think so far? Chen Yu was very pleasantly surprised. It was better not to use a stuntman. The shooting effect would be more natural and wonderful. But he didn't agree. Instead, he asked, little guy, are you serious? His sight drifted to Lei Tie. He also saw Qin Mian. Qin Mian wore a smile with eyes calm and confident, nodded slightly to him, to show that Lei Rulin did not lie. I never lie. Lei Rulin said. Chen Yu cautiously said, first, you do it with the martial arts instructor. Lei Rulin nodded calmly and said to the martial arts instructor, please guide me. The martial arts instructor was amused. With the director's instruction, there was nothing he was unwilling to do. Okay, come. Lei Rulin knew that it was not the time to be modest. Since the martial arts instructor was embarrassed to take the first shot, he attacked first and threw a straight hook punch. The martial arts instructor immediately went to grab his wrist. Lei Rulin knew that the purpose of the fight was not to win, but to transition. So, his fist flashed to the side, the other fist punched out, and at the same time, his right leg swept the footwork of the martial arts instructor. Although there were only 2 moves, the martial arts instructor had seen that he really knew martial arts, so he got serious. 2 people went forth and back, fighting so wonderfully. Others might not see it, but who was Chen Yu? He had made many action movies. He soon saw that the martial arts instructor was becoming serious in wanting to subdue Lei Rulin. But Lei Rulin had real skills. He had been swiftly slipping all the time, and even forced the martial arts instructor to retreat one step after another. Good. Chen Yu was very happy. Rulin doesn't need a stuntman. Lin Xiang's brow wrinkled up, but before others saw it, he smoothed them out. He felt a little uncomfortable. A little kid didn't need a stuntman but him, the adult one, needed it. If this got out, he might become a laughing stock. However, the other party was just a child, so he couldn't make a fuss over a child. He could only be depressed in the heart. Alas, his face appeared a little chilly. "What's the matter?" the assistant asked with concern. Lin Xiang casually said, "The two adults of Lei Rulan's family have good genes. I wonder if they will also get into the entertainment industry." He had to admit that both men were excellent looking. In case they entered the entertainment industry, they would definitely be a threat to him. His eyes drifted to Qin Mian and Lei Tie. Lei Tie seemed to look over inadvertently and his indifferent eyes met Lin Xiang's line of sight. Lin Xiang was startled and hastily withdrew his eyes. His heart sank. He was actually suppressed just by a look from the other party. Because Lin Xiang's stuntman and Lei Rulan were both good at martial arts, Chen Yu simply refused to let the martial arts instructor arrange their moves. He let them move at will. It was no big deal to take many shots. After editing, only the brilliant moves would remain. A total of 3 takes, about 20 minutes later, Chen Yu called cut. "This scene is done." Today's shooting was still relatively smooth. Chen Yu looked at the watch and generously said, "Eat first. We'll continue in the afternoon." All the staff were relieved. "Mealtime, come here to get the box meal." Lei Rulan didn't want to be an exception. He also took a box meal and ran to his family happily, "Daddy." After shouting, he asked in a low voice, "Did you see me filming? How did I do today?" The little cocky appearance made people laugh. "Great." Qin Mian was generous with praise. He rubbed his son's head, took out the disposable bowls and disposable cups he had brought, poured 2 bowls of soup first, and said to his youngest son, "I've brought the soup and juice. You take it over and invite everyone to drink." Lei Rulan and his Gurgur went over carrying barrels, bowls, and cups. "Thank you for taking care of me. I'll treat you to soup and juice. My daddy's soup and juice are the best." Towards a child, especially a cute child, everyone held goodwill. It was hard to refuse. Men all chose to drink soup and women all chose to drink juice. No matter how big the barrel was, it was limited. Only the main members of the crew got the soup and juice. They just tasted it casually but didn't expect that with a mouthful of soup or juice, the taste and flavor would explode within their mouths and their spirits were boosted. Chen Yu finished the soup in one mouthful, then reached out, "Little Rulan, give me another bowl." Li Wanwan, the actress taking the female lead role, also handed her cup to Lei Rulan. Wanwan was cute and witty, "Little brother, can I have another cup of juice? It's the first time I've had such good juice. Where did your daddy buy the fruit?" "I don't know." Lei Rulan said, "Sister Wanwan, if you drink a few more cups, you will become more and more beautiful." Everyone laughed. After drinking 3 bowls of soup, Chen Yu still wanted to drink it but he felt sorry for the 2 little guys who had yet to drink it. He simply drove them away and when he couldn't see them, he felt the craving. "Enough, enough. Leave some for Ruki and Rulan and let them go to eat." Qin Mian had poured 2 bowls of soup for his 2 sons. The family of 4 sat together to eat. From time to time, they gave each other dishes, making people envious. Many people were secretly guessing what Qin Mian and Lei Tie came for. That included Li Wanwan. Li Wanwan thought that the family had outstanding bearing, unlike ordinary people. She didn't feel that Qin Mian and Lei Tie were the same as those who came with secret schemes. End chapter.